我们的 video 是 about 七月的 superstitions，还有它的 taboo。So taboo 就是what are the things that we shouldn't do。我们 upgrade 了，我们有 props。So 泽可以帮忙吗 ？If you can help。Okay, from the first, which is the most common one, things that people probably know about. Then after that, the one at the bottom is the most obscure. So not everyone might know about it. What do you think will be the first one on the list？ 那个大家都懂的。
不可以游泳，太晚出门。
Can you show the first one？
这个哇，是 blue tick。Cannot stay out late at night.
Okay, yeah, that's the most common. I think 每个人都懂 right? So during 7 months 的时候 you shouldn't stay out late at night. But 为什么呢 ？Why？
因为7月门开了，所以
门呀，鬼门关 right？
鬼门关开了，然后他们晚上出来，所以他们 loiter around， 尤其是在晚上。
所以不要 reduce the chance of encounter with 那些。
晚上是比较阴的时间。有些人天生有阴阳眼，他们能看到别人看不到的东西，比如鬼魂。我听到的故事说，有一个阴阳眼的 paramedic， 因为工作他经常进出医院，但每当他看到可怕的东西，他就是 ignore， 假装看不到。一天晚上，他刚送完人去医院，就注意到远处3楼4楼的窗口坐着一个白色的东西。他来不及转身躲开，那东西suddenly转过头就直接看着他，然后躲到角落头去。他 immediately 转身回到救护车，但在进去之前，因为很好奇，他回头看了一眼，然后看到那东西从角落头偷偷地看着他，然后又躲起来了。回到消防局后，他回到自己的班，关灯休息。他开始睡着了，但就在这时候，他听到一个声音在他耳边小声地说：“你在找我吗？”他跳起来打开灯，但是那里什么都没有。
来 ，the next one。
Chinese 7 month cannot step on 那个 offering 还是 burn the ash。
这个是什么来的 ？Offerings or burn ash？
每次7月的时候，初一到15嘛，所以每个人是初一的时间跟尾的时候，开门关门的时候会烧金子。烧了那些金子，
有些就是放在马路旁，再放在地板烧嘞。
所以看到这些 ashes 在地板还是什么，就是avoid，不要去踩。
还有时候他们放那种柜在地板，它不是有那种 offerings， 有插香。
不可以去摸它，不可以去吃，不可以拿来吃，不可以去摸，这些东西咯，你就不要去碰它就是了，因为这是给 offering 这些孤魂野鬼的。
OK。
Chinese 7 month cannot sing or whistle at night.
OK， 这个你们懂吗？
不懂。
不知道。
So apparently right, if you sing or whistle at night right， 就是会 draw 他们的 attention。So whistle 好像 we 还是 we，it's like 在叫他们这样哦。
是咩
？Yeah。Then sing right， so 他们会以为是歌台 performance。So you know during Chinese 7 months。So sometimes 他们会摆歌台 right? It's like entertainment for the spirits.
Offering 他们
And what they'll do is they'll also leave the first row of the seats empty，就是给好兄弟们就坐在那边看。
First 2 row。
So if 你在边走路你边唱歌的话，是不是他们可能会误会说是那个是我的，那个是歌台来的 ，Let's go check it out。
So in this story, a teenager was walking home late at night. He was talking on the phone with his friend, and then noticed a wake set up at his void deck. As he walked past, he saw a pair of paper dolls, one male and one female. He had never seen this before and told his friend, they look like blow-up dolls. I should just bring the girl doll back home to play with. He then entered the car when he reached the lift landing, and while waiting for the lift, he looked back at the doll. But then he saw that the female doll was turned towards him instead of away like it was before. He then went into the lift, pressed the button for 13th floor, and the door closed. But as the lift went up, he looked through the small glass window and saw the female doll. And as he went up a floor, the doll moved closer and closer and closer. But as soon as the lift reached his floor, it disappeared. He quickly ran into his home, jumped into his bed and hid under his blanket. But then, he was not alone.
Cannot.
可以 show 吗？show 一下那个
Chinese 7 months cannot turn around if someone tap on your shoulder.
OK， 这个你们懂吗？
不懂。
有听说过吗？
我听说就是7月的时候就是不要 tap shoulder 啊，then turn around 我就不知道了。
OK， 你有听说过刚刚 ？So apparently right，你 feel that 有东西 tap 你的 shoulder 哦，还是你 feel that 还是你听到有人叫你，好像这样嘞。所以你 turn around 你不可以来 just turn 你的头而已，你要整个身体这样转过去，你有 turn your whole body towards。So the reason being 因为说人们有3把火，你有听过吗？
对。
So 你懂那3把火是在哪里吗
？2个肩膀。
2个肩膀，还有一个是在 forehead。So if 你转头的话，是不是那个一把火的力量 is not strong enough， 等下就被灭掉。There was this couple, they were on a date, and then they went to a karaoke place. I won't say which karaoke place this is, but it's in the central of Singapore. So they went there, and then they were singing, and then they enjoyed themselves for a few hours. And then when it was time to pay, so 他们去 cashier 那边, and then the cashier tried to charge them for 3 people. So 他们就很 astonished because there were only 2 of them. 他们就 insist that, it's just the 2 of us. Why should we pay for 3? And then the cashier said, 有3个人, there's definitely 3 people. If you want proof, right, you can follow me. We have CCTVs in every room, and I can show you. 他们就 okay, fine, let us do that. So they went to the security room, and then the cashier turned on the CCTV footage on one of the monitors. And on the monitor, inside the room, right, while the 2 of them were singing, there was a 3rd person. So 有个很 blur 的 lady sat in the corner of the room. She was just sat there. The head was bowed, and then she was staring at the floor, wasn't moving at all. When the cashier saw the reaction of the couple, he immediately knew what was happening. So he said, you know what? We can waive the charges for this room. Just don't go around telling people about this. The couple decided to just let things rest there. But just before they left, the guy, he took out his phone and then he took a snap of the CCTV image. He took a snap of it on his phone. A couple of weeks later, he was looking through his phone. I think he forgot that he had that image on his phone. He was lying down in bed looking at it. And then he just happened to scroll to that image. 他就很 curious because the image was quite blurry. So he decided to zoom to the EV 的那个 female 的 figure 啦。So 他 zoom, right? And this is the story that I heard 啦。That figure suddenly look up at him.
Chinese 7 months cannot call someone's name out loud at night.
这个你们听说过吗？
Cannot call out name out at night.
So the reason, right, 是他们会记得，说如果 nearby 有 spirits 还是什么 right, then 他们会听到， then 他们就会 remember, and they will use it against you. So 他们就会叫你。
我在家不可以叫咩？
没有啦，叫夫稍微要劳力在外面哦 ，maybe 在家里应该是 OK 的吧 ，I imagine。
全部是 apply to outside 而已。
Yeah, maybe 咯 ，maybe 全部都是 apply to outside 而已咯 ，you're right. Okay.
Next one.
Chinese 7 months cannot look under altar or offering table.
OK， 这个你们听过吗
Cannot look under altar or offering table.
？So you know sometimes 他们摆桌子出来拜拜，然后他们放金抓在上面，然后再拿去烧，然后还是他们放那个 table， 然后有放烧鸭、烧猪。So you are not supposed to look under 那个。The idea is that
谁会去 look under？
you don't. Yeah, actually, yeah， 谁会去 look under? But the thing is right， 那个table 下面就是他们的 like resting spot， 这样是一个 shelter 来的，他们就是蹲在下面吃东西。我有听过一个 version of this right，so 他是讲说 because tables 有脚，你有听过说 if 你站住 right，then 你 bend down，then 你 look between 你的脚，你也是可以。
这个有听过的。
So it's that same theory 啦。So if you look between the legs， 你自己的 legs or 你 tables and chair 的 legs 的话 ，you'll be able to see something。讲真的，我不敢 try， 我不敢 test out 这个 theory，so。
在农历7月里，人们都会烧香、烧金纸作为祭品给祖先。金纸象征着金钱，烧了就可以把钱财送到祖先手中，让他们在阴间也可以富贵。大多数人会把金纸放在特别的烧金桶里，但也有人会把金子堆在人行道上焚烧，这样只会在人行道上留下一堆 ash。而根据迷信的说法，人们都应该避开这些地方，因为烧完的祭品后，鬼魂会继续在这些烧完的灰周围徘徊。据说有一天，有一个小女孩快迟到了，急忙地赶着上学，不小心踩上了一堆灰。但因为她不是华人，也不是迷信，所以她也没多想，只是擦了一下鞋子，就赶快跑上去学校。她准时到了学校，但她开始感觉越来越不舒服。直到他突然昏倒在地上，老师就叫来了救护车。救护人员赶到后，立刻想要评估他的状况，但他突然睁开了眼睛，跟医护人员说：“你又找到我了。”
Chinese 7 months cannot pick up random red packet on the ground.
OK， 这个你们懂为什么吗？这个真的很 obscure 的。
7 months 会有红包的地板
对咯。
这个我好像有听说过，就是那个红包里面不是钱来的，就是一个过世的人的头发。
对。
Then
是一个 trap 来的。
那个就是那些长辈，他们是在帮忙找那个 partner。For 那个 pass away 的人，如果 the one who pick up the red packet already， 他就是那个过世的人 chosen one to be the partner。
对哦。
所以他会就是会一直黏着他咯。
对哦 ，so 这个是 actually 是叫 spirit wedding。So if 有一个人 maybe 是女孩子还是个男孩子，很 young 的时候过世了 ，right？Then in olden times， 长辈就会想说不要给他们孤苦伶仃在下面，人就会找一个 partner 给他们。Then 他们就会 set 这种 traps， 他们就会拿那个红包，然后在里面放一个 object， 就是说他们的头发还是他们的object， 然后再就是放在地板。So if 你 sway enough or lucky enough to 捡到的话 ，right， 然后他们就 approach 你，跟你讲说你被求生了 ，because 你 pick 这个 up， 所以你要 marry 我的这个deceased 的孩子。有点 scary right 这个。
Last one.
Last one.
Cannot hang clothes outside overnight.
So apparently 气柜的时候是你不可以吊衣服在外面。
But I think nowadays modern 的人就是 just 吊哦。
对咯，
新屋子很少人会 hang 衣服在外面，都是吊 indoor 了。So outdoor I don't think 会有人。
没有啦，老一辈咯，你是 HDB 就是插一个 deco 在外面，那你
老一辈的人应该会懂吧
Yeah.
？But 年轻人他们就是 don't care 的，就是 just 吊哦，我要我衣服干吗？
Yeah.
不是每个人家都可以 afford 的买得到一个 dryer 还是什么。
我的 question 是 actually balcony 是 consider indoor 还是 outdoor？ Because 我们 actually 也是 guilty of 这个，你转过去你转过去旁边看，我们也是 hang 很多东西在外面。
没有嘞，我觉得还是算是 indoor，outdoor 就是外面哦。
So 这个是 the list of the 8 things that you are supposed to not do during Chinese 7 months. This story took place late at night, during the 7th month. 2 security guards were doing night patrolling in the building late at night. They were chatting while walking back to the security room when one of them spotted a shadow run around the corner. He whistled to get his partner's attention. "Hey, you saw that or not?" he shouted. "Saw what?" his partner replied. "Hey, Jaden, you don't try to scare me, ah." They thought it might have been a cat or a rat and then went back into the security room. But soon after, Jaden felt a stomachache and then had to go to the toilet. He was sitting in the toilet when he felt the hairs on his neck stand. "Jaden," he heard someone call his name from outside his toilet cubicle. "What?" he shouted, but no one replied to him. "Jaden," he heard again, but this time it was much closer, as if it came from inside the toilet cubicle. "Hey, who is this, huh? Not funny, I'm warning you." He turned to look behind him, looked around the cubicle, and was really confused and a bit afraid. "Jaden." This time it was a whisper from directly above him. So before we share the last story and finish up this video, I just want to say stay safe during the 7th month. And although you may not believe in some of the traditional customs and practices, it's still nice to be respectful even if you don't practice any of them. And please use the designated Joss paper burning bins. Pick up whatever plastic bags and wrappers when you are done, and don't litter. Finally, like if you like this video, subscribe if you loved it and would like to see more. And if you have a 7-month story of your own, then please do share in the comments below.
You never say anything.
Okay, Man,
Huh?
you got a scary story to tell?
Yes.
Okay, come, you wanna tell the scary story?
Yes.
Okay, come, tell me.
Once upon a time, there was a girl drinking a Yakult. Then there's a shadow outside. Then there's like 10 shadows. Then the 10 shadow scared the girl. And then comes a scary thing come out of the roof. Then outside the window, there's what?